Hey guys, this is episode 39 of the peer-to-peer network. Okay, so in that last episode we had an issue with the creating the fork. I did some research and I discovered the problem was that the token that we generated didn't include the repository management tick when you create the token. So with that it worked, even though there was no way to know that was the problem based on the error return that was 404, page not found. Okay, so let's move forward. That means that this is working, and this is the step one, is creating the fork if it doesn't exist. Okay, so all this is working, and we have only, we're pointing to this repository. Soon we are going to have the governance plugins here. That is where we are going to do the stuff over. Enhance plugins, because we are moving out from the main repository of superalgos. We're moving out the plugins. Okay, so there will be, or there is, a governance plugin still not fully implemented, but we are going to code it to work from there. Okay, so the next step in our long list of things to do, we can take this function as done. Check create fork. That's step number one. Okay, then we have step number two, which is we will check. Okay, so we will read, take this out. Step number two, this is we will check at the fork for the user profile and read that file if it exists. So if it exists, that would mean that we would be in the situation of a guy that already has a user profile, probably created with the Superalgos platform or with a previous installation of this same thing. So to read this, we are going to use a technique that we already use at the GitHub server. And we use this, for example, okay, when we merge pull request, we are getting a list of files. So at some point we are reading list files. I'm looking to the place where we are reading a GitHub file, because we already did this. So where is the place? So I will go through this code, understand it, and see where we have the stuff that we can reuse. So we are listing the pull request list files. Okay, file changes is an array. Okay, it seems that we don't read the files per se. Maybe I was mistaken. Okay. Okay, there was a confusion. I was not reading the files per se. Let me think about this. We read the list of files. Validate if PR has more than one file. Okay, so how do we get this? Okay, so here we have a way, file content URL. Okay, so this is how we are fetching the data. Fetch API data file. And we pass a URL. So let's check this out. Who is using this guy? Okay, this is what you're using. And this is a Foundations Utility Web Access. Fetch data. Why this is not listed at the project schema? Okay, this is the function name. And the reason this is not listing this is because this is in here. So probably I will need to move this to SA to become it, to have it as a library that anybody can access. So I will move this from here to here, and this is going to be SA, and this is going to go from foundations, PL utilities to here. Okay, so we are going to use the same trick to get our user profile. So here, then the file content, this URL here, okay, the URL for getting GitHub profile stuff. Okay, so currently, well, we're going to do it with the right repository. There is governance plugins, user profiles. So if I would like to get my own user profile, the way to fetch this is here. Okay, so let user profile URL is going to be something similar to this. Okay, so What I'm going to do here is to replace this. Where do we have create fork? We will need the things like these organization repos. All these guys, we're going to put it here. So from the forked repo, no, not from the forked repo. We need from the organization repo. So here we're going to replace this with so the organization. My God. Okay. For master or develop, we're merging things into okay, so far is develop. This might change in the future. User profiles and the owner. My God. Owner. Okay. So we will get the file content. And from there we'll get the user profile plugin. It's going to be json.parse file content. So we will check at the fork, not at the fork, we will check for the user profile and read the file. So here we will check for the user profile. Okay, so console log user profile plugin. So we don't need to test this number one, so we're going to avoid doing this, and we will test this one. Okay, okay, and here we have the user profile. Okay, so the step 2 is done. So if we have a user profile, I think there is one template user profile. So maybe we can load that template. So looking for template. Where is the template, man? I'm not sure that I'm going to use something that was created for a tutorial as a template. Most likely, what I'm going to do instead is to create a new user profile, governance project, profile constructor, and if I let's say that our profile is called template profile, and if I create user profile a new wallet, what happens is I don't mind having this as a default. From here, I will need user apps, desktop apps, mobile apps. Probably will need all of this. Um, I'm thinking if I'm going to have a template, what I actually need is social personas, user bots, user storage. Github storage, storage container. Template profile. What I'm doing is that the easiest way for have all this done is to have a template where I can just read the template and find and replace on the string the name here at the template with the actual name of the user, and then parse that, and I will have everything I need already set up for that user. Okay, so that would be an easy way to do this. Otherwise, I will have to do everything like by hand. Okay, so the user apps. maybe if depending on what I receive, I either delete this or this. If I am being executed from a social trading desktop app, then I delete this guy, or maybe this guy. And the problem is that if I already have a user profile, then I would have to anyway. Let's say I have a user profile, then I will have to create this node, create this node, create this node. So it doesn't really make a difference to have a template fully completed, because I will need to do it anyway for people that I discover a user profile. I will have to ask if it has this node, otherwise I will need to create it. Hmm. So yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to use a template. Okay, so here we are. We have this stuff. So what if we don't have a profile? What would happen here? Okay, this would fail. This will fail miserably. Okay, so we will need here then user exists catch user profile does not exist. Then we will have a function user profile exists, and we will receive the file content there. And we will have a function called user profile does not exist, and we will won't receive anything there. So if it exists, then this will come here, and if it doesn't exist, we're going to simulate the file content, or not an object but this, and probably we are going to do delete this, delete this, you don't need this or this or this or this. Okay, okay, maybe I would do something as a template a little bit. Let me see how this works. Um, okay, so I will create this with the minimum things needed in order that if somebody opens the governance system, they will see their profile. somewhere over there without that much trouble. Anyways, the profiles are ordered automatically, so there's no need to record. Okay. So now I don't think I'm going to create this from a template. I'm going to go property by property creating this stuff. So if the user profile does not exist, then user profile is going to be an object with these properties: type, name, project, ID. That's it. Type, name, project, ID. Okay. So the user profile plugin is going to be this. Very good. Okay. So what type of object is a user profile? What name is going to have? Well, it's going to have whatever was the owner. Project is governance, and the ID unique Okay, I will never remember how is the name. Miss. My God. So we're social trading foundations, utilities, miscellaneous function, generate unique ID. So ID is going to be this. Okay, yes. So now in both cases we have a user profile plugin. Okay, then we're going to do check the user profile and read the file if it exists. Then we will have, if there's a profile file, then we're going to create. This is the same thing than this. So that means that there is one less step. I think the next thing to do is to sign the user profile. Here there's going to be a little bit of an issue that we didn't took into account, and is that if we are creating a new user profile, we also need to create a wallet for this guy. That means that we need to return the wallet as part of the message of response of the user interface can show the mnemonic to the user so that it can make a backup of the private key. So point number 3 is create probably create a wallet and sign the user profile. So the thing here doesn't stop here, because we will need to create a profile, create a new user profile. Then we will need create a wallet for the new user profile. Then we will sign the user file with the wallet private key. Okay, we will have to do that too. And then we will have the user profile sign it and the private key. Okay, once we are there, we will have these two guys. We will have the user profile plugin, and I don't really know why I call it this plugin. They will have the user profile, either the loaded one or the other one, at the same level. Okay. Once we have the user profile with the wallet and signature, then we will have to add the nodes. And then create a storage container, and then create the sign-in accounts, and sign and sign them. Okay, so the next step is add user app type, or in general it will be a function call profile children, where we're going to add all the needed children of the user profile. Then we will do the add user profile or add the signing accounts. And once we have the sign-in accounts, we will need to save somewhere. Which is the user profile that we are actually using here. I still don't know where we are going to save this because we don't have a case like this. That is the app storage. It's a local storage where we have to persist information like this, which is the user profile we are using. So I'm going to add here await save to app storage. Okay, so this is about saving somewhere. We need to save a file called app storage that is going to contain at minimum the ID of the user profile or some information of the user profile that this app is linked to. So that leads me to think that I'm going to add one more message here. Create user profile, get user profile info. This is going to fetch the information from that file that is going to store the user profile most indispensable info. Okay. Use to fetch very basic info of the user profile attached to this app. Attached to the app. Okay, so with that, I will have everything I need to solve the rest of the problems. If I have the user profile and put the children, including the storage, wait, we will need to create, I will divide this because add user profile, no, user apps. But here we will need to create add open storage, because for the repository that we're going to create for this guy, we will need to create it at GitHub too. Okay, so the problem doesn't stop there. So we check or create a user profile. Once we have a user profile, we will add the open storage. So we are going to set up everything so that this guy can have an open storage at the GitHub at least. We will add user apps, meaning configuring the user app so that this guy can connect to the peer-to-peer network. Then we will add the signing accounts. That means that we're going to add the node, but also sign that stuff. And that means that we're going to put the private keys. Okay. So add signing accounts means several stuff. Creating the signing accounts nodes. Then this also means saving the signing accounts at the secrets file. Okay, and for doing this I will have to check how it is done from the user interface and probably reuse part of that code or make it reusable. Maybe moving code to libraries that I can reuse. Okay, so that will have an impact on the code that is executed at the user interface itself. We will say the file special git ignored folder. So this is going to be a long process. It's going to take me at least one more session, if not two or three. Okay. But at least it seems that this is all. Okay, so we are going to get up until here. We have a clear picture of how this evolves. This is a long process creating a user profile from the desktop app because we need to recreate many of the stuff that we already done to create a user profile from the platform. So we will have to code this step by step and then test everything. Well, that's the way. So I'm going to leave it here and continue filling these functions at the next episode. Okay. So to recap, what we have done is um, advancing on the process of creating a user profile from an app. Okay, that includes all the processes. It's a complex process. We did the part of fetching the user profile from the repository. So there's still a kind of long way to go. Okay, so this is all for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time.